Hey guys, welcome to the final video in this three-part series. I'm just down in the office area down here in my house, and we're kind of snowed in this morning, so I thought it would be a good time to do this last video. You can kind of maybe see out the window there. It's been pretty much snow in a blizzard for the last 12 hours, so there's a couple of foot of snow everywhere. Everybody's stuck in their houses, so I thought it'd be a good time to do this final video. Yeah, it's kind of crazy out there, so nothing for it but to sit down, do some work. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this final video in the series. It's been a real it's been really enjoyable for me actually to do this, because it's not something I often do, is put together this type of step-by-step strategy for everybody. But hopefully you find a lot of use in it. It's been helpful. This last video is kind of the final piece to the puzzle. The first couple of videos we dealt with how to get your baseline, the theory behind SEO in this day and age. And then in this video, it's going to be very much how to optimize your content moving forward. So I'm going to take you through now the software to use, how to optimize the text, basically everything in your website, all the content, the text, the video, images, how to navigate the software, and how to really get the important pieces in place. So what I'll do now is I'll scoot over to the laptop and we'll get stuck in. Okay guys, see you over there. Hey guys, so we're sitting here with all the good stuff done. Now we've got to get on to the content within our website and really dial in the optimization of the specific content throughout. And hopefully the videos up to this point have shown you exactly how to optimize the core elements of your website. So things like the code and the performance, how to get the baseline, how to do some research, and the tools to use online, which are available for free, that you can make use of right away in doing all that. So this really kind of builds upon the foundational elements and then shows you how to basically take your content, existing or future content, and how to think about creating and curating content moving forward. And I'll talk a little bit around about each of those elements as we go as well. But in this one, what I want to do is I want to just give you a bit more theory, and then we'll delve into our WordPress website, and I'll show you an example of a post which is sort of semi-optimized but not quite there, and then how we would go about the process of really refining the optimization of that. So you can see the difference that can make in terms of what the software does, how you can control everything, and then how you can really supercharge the optimization of your content itself, from the written, the visual, video, and so on. So what we want to do is first of all look at this kind of step-by-step checklist again. So this type of thing is good, just in that I think that you guys can work through it and look at each piece and go, yes, I've done this, done that, we'll move on to the next component, and so on. So what you want to do first of all is download and install the SEO software. Now there'll be a link in the description of this video whereby you can just click through and download that onto your computer. It's a freely available WordPress plugin. So if you go into the plugins area of WordPress and search for it, it'll come up and you can just instantly download and install that into WordPress on your own website. What you want to do once it's installed then is basically optimize the software, and it actually has a setup wizard. It's, by the way, the software is called Yoast SEO, or SEO by Yoast, or WordPress SEO by Yoast. If you search any of those terms, it should come up. It's changed a little bit in the last few years as to the name of it, but it'll be there. It's the best one out there, really, and as I say, it's free. At least in its most important form. You can get a premium subscription, as with most plugins these days. But for now, I would just go for the free version. What you want to do is go through the setup wizard, make sure all the recommended settings are in place, things like the XML sitemap and things like that, which I'll show you shortly. And then what you need to do after that is go to your written content and pages and posts within your website. And as I said in one of the earlier lessons, the key differentiation between pages and posts, because they look identical when you're creating and editing them, but pages are the core fundamental pages within your website. So the home page, about, services, blog, contact, and so on. Posts are actually chronologically organized, kind of, I don't want to say semi pages, but basically they're articles within your website which appear just like the pages do and are edited just like pages are, but they form chronologically within your blog page, so they get listed within that hierarchy. So that's what you need to also bear in mind is what ranks. Pages versus posts. Pages are more substantial in their recognition. When Google scans your website, they'll see that there are 10, 20 pages within your website and maybe 40, 100, 1,000 different blog posts within your website. But they will rank pages more weightily than posts. So it's worth bearing that in mind. A blog is an excellent way to build SEO because you can consistently update and create new content. And get people, traffic driven to that content and engaging with it. And of course, Google and the other search engines recognize all those important things. But the pages are going to be the kind of your bread and butter on the website. So the really important things, and that's why it's important that you go to your pages first, optimize those, and then move on to your blog posts. And then once everything is optimized, you can continue to create optimized content moving forward. So it's important to know what ranks from that respect. Then once you've done that, you can move on to the imagery in your website. So as you add images to your pages and posts, you can go into each of those individual images. And again, I'm going to show you this shortly, but you can go into each of those and you can optimize the image individually to match for a targeted keyword that you've chosen in the last lesson I showed you. How to go into Google Keyword Planner, how to identify opportunities for keywords, and then how to go about thinking about content and how to create content based around those keywords. And basically, once you have those keywords, everything else falls in place behind that. It has to be related to the topic, mentioning the keyword. So I'll show you in a sec when we go over to WordPress exactly how that actually stacks up when you come to edit a post. Once you've done that, then you can also say, for instance, you have video, you can move on and optimize your video. So if you've got a YouTube channel like I do, and I'm talking to you now probably on it, you can actually optimize the videos within, and then when those videos get embedded over on your website, the embed code helps Google recognize that, and then they can see that it's embedded and it's relevant and to the other content within your page and so on. So that, in a nutshell, is really the step-by-step checklist you want to go through here. Install software, optimize the software, move on to written content, have the knowledge as to what ranks, pages versus posts, and therefore the importance of each. And then the imagery and video will follow on accordingly from there. So let's revisit the reason why is content important. First of all, it grows that bulk of relevant information on your website. If you look at our website, it's about online marketing. So most of the blog posts are really based around online marketing. So free training or information or insider secrets in terms of the industry. It could be anything, but it's all a bulk of content that helps grow the website consistently over time. That content engages your readership or your prospects, clients, visitors to the website. And of course, it shows your interest in the website. And Google and all the other search engines want to see that you're actively involved and interested in consistently updating your website, keeping it current, offering good value of information, pertinent information, related information, and engaging information. So that's why it's important to make sure you understand that the key objectives of when you go to create content, what that's all about. And again, why is any of that important? Well, ultimately, all of that helps you as a business or a blogger or whatever your website is doing for you, but it helps you grow your credit rating, as I call it, with search engines like Google. So over time, they see you consistently updating your content, they see people engaging with that content, and they then learn through their algorithms that your website is trustworthy, it's secure, and it's engaging. And that's ultimately what Google looks for. If you look back to I think it was the first lesson we did in this series, where I discussed the importance of that relevant content. They see the trust building, they see the engagement, and that just allows Google and other search engines to go, do you know what, we should recommend some traffic for this site. And that's how you build up your ranking over time. So for now, what I want to do is get a bit more practical than we even have done, and certainly in the last lesson. I want us to delve into our WordPress website. I'm going to show you the software. I'm going to show you how to optimize a specific page or post within your website, and what all the different factors mean, and how you match them up so you start getting the little green light, which you'll see in the software. Okay guys, so we'll scoot over to our WordPress site, and I'll show you the practical element. Okay guys, so here we are, we're in our WordPress dashboard. This is the most current version as yet, so hopefully they don't change it too much when by the time you come to watch the video. But what I want to do is really just show you the software that we use and explain why you should use it too. And of course, I have no affiliation with this company, or I gain no commission out of you guys using it. But genuinely, over the last 6-7 years, firstly, we've seen the software come a long way. It's much more sophisticated than it used to be, but also it's just an excellent tool. It's very easy to use. It's very simple for you guys, because they create this kind of green, amber, red lighting system in terms of your optimization. It's very easy for you guys to just work through systematically your content and so on, if you know where to look and what to edit and so on. And I'm going to show you that shortly. But Yoast SEO is by far the best SEO platform for WordPress that we've used. So what I want to do is just bring your attention to the various elements. So if you go into your WordPress dashboard, you'll see the little SEO tab down the side, and then you can basically scroll down, look at all the different tools and things like that. One of the important factors, which I mentioned in one of the previous videos, is this idea of an XML sitemap. Now, what an XML sitemap does is it basically creates a sitemap, a skeleton version of your website that search engines can crawl. So when they see a sitemap based on a hierarchy of pages and posts and things like that, they basically scan everything, and from those scans they can delve into pages, they can see the content, they can basically list the engagement and things like that. But that's why without an XML sitemap, search engines can't actually access your website in a logical fashion. And if they can't do that, then they assume that the website is poorly structured, poorly laid out, potentially not relevant, not current. And of course, those are all things you want to avoid. So for instance, if you come into the sitemap area, you just basically click Enable XML Sitemap. It will generate a sitemap for you, which you can click on and basically see, like this. And after that, you can customize different things, but a lot of this stuff you don't need unless you're an advanced user. So I wouldn't worry too much necessarily about a lot of things. I mean, you can see here, you can choose whether to include things in a sitemap or not. A lot of these things are not particularly important. I could set most of those to not in sitemap, for instance. We've got post types. Again, what we're doing here is we're saying that pages and posts, attachments, portfolios, slider items are all included within the sitemap. So as long as they're optimized and they're not clunky, that then include those in the sitemap so the search engines can accurately trawl them. Then if you had certain posts that maybe you didn't want to be in search engines, you could exclude them here. And then you've got taxonomies, which is really just the kind of hierarchy of content within your website, categories, tags, portfolio categories, and so on. So those elements kind of get less important as you go along the top. The general one is just to make sure your XML sitemap is set to enabled, and then you can set a maximum number of entries here if you wish or not. I mean, it's up to yourselves. I would tend to just leave it blank normally and allow, or even put in like 1,000, and that way you know that depending on your level of content, your pages, posts, media, and so on, that it will all be included as you want it to be within the sitemap that SEO by Yoast generates for you. Let's just click through a couple of these things and you can see where we're at and what all the different things are. We got here titles and metas enabled. We've got a title separator. You can choose all these different things. Normally a simple dash is the recommended option. We've got readability analysis. This is very important. I'm going to show you when we delve in to the specific post that we're going to edit here, how readability plays into search engine optimization and why it's therefore important that you look at both readability and keyword analysis. You want to have both of those really optimized to within an inch of their lives in terms of making sure that your post is fully optimized. You've also got things like social if you want to connect. You know, you can put in, we just really use our Facebook and Twitter professionally, so that is where you enter your different you know, your accounts, and it can hook up to those. Let's see what is in advanced. Breadcrumbs, enabled, disabled. And again, it's really good that you can basically see some recommendations here within the software. So if I go back, sorry, I'll just disable that for now. Usage of the breadcrumbs feature is explained in our knowledge base. So you can go over, click that link, go and read about it and see if it's relevant to your website, to your business, that you want to potentially include breadcrumbs. I'm just going to enable now and see. Well, I'll look at this later and see how it affects the website. One thing you do need to bear in mind is things like breadcrumbs sometimes can affect the styling on your website if you just do a simple enabling of the feature. Permalinks here. Permalinks are basically the permanent links that each page, post, media item is created with. So in WordPress, when you create any of those items and you hit publish, there is a permalink that is automatically generated, and it's based by default off the title of that post. And I'll show you that again when we delve in to the post optimization I'm going to show you as well. You'll be able to see how that plays out and why a permalink can be incredibly important, not only for SEO but also just the navigation structure of your website. So again, you can do different things here and enable, disable certain items. You can literally follow what we have here if you wish, or you can look and see whether it's more appropriate for your website. You know, say for instance stop words and slugs. This helps you to create cleaner URLs by automatically removing the stop words from them. So I'm going to maybe just I'll set that to remove. You want them to remove those types of things. Remove the reply to com variables. This prevents threaded replies from working when the user has JavaScript enabled, but on a large site can mean a huge improvement in crawl efficiency for search engines when you have a lot of comments. Not particularly useful for our site. We're just going to keep that in. Redirect ugly URLs to clean permalinks. Not recommended in many cases. So we've said no redirect. We have some manual redirects in place and different things within our website. I don't want to mess with that. So we're just going to leave that as is and hit save changes. Now, ultimately, those are the most important factors. There's a tools area here as well. You can do bulk editing, file editor, import and export of all sorts of different things. There's a search console, so you can actually connect to your Google installation, or you can go premium with Yoast. We don't do it because we have a knowledge base in this area. We just use the software. It's completely up to yourselves. There are some benefits to going premium if you don't have experience. So maybe just click on that link and you can find out a bit more, learn about the cost of that and so on. But what I want to do now, really, we've kind of just covered, those are just the basics of the platform. What I want to do now is, there you go, security settings, company info. Those are kind of just the important things you want to mention. Advanced settings, general. Again, here in the general settings, this is where you might want to go through the configuration wizard. And the great thing about this plugin, before we just get into this post optimization now, is that the plugin will advise you as you set up. So when you start the plugin, it'll say, look, if you're in this situation, you probably want to click this setting. If you're in another situation, you may want to do this. And it'll give you those options as you go, which is why it's such an excellent tool and why it's improved a lot over the last number of years. And again, kind of why I'm redoing this video for you guys, so you've got the most up-to-date version possible. So that is the Yoast SEO plugin. As with all things WordPress, if you go into plugins, add new, search for Yoast SEO, it'll come up in the results, and just hit install, go into general and go through the configuration wizard, and it'll help you set that up. So for now, what I want to do is scoot over to the post itself, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how to go through systematically optimizing an individual post and the images within that post. Alright, so we're within this post. I've just picked a random post out of our database, and what I want to do is just go through kind of top to bottom and show you all the different elements, the editing area, what's important, what's not important, and then how to go about theorizing about how to optimize your specific content that you've created. Now, what we did at the very start of all this, of course, was do our keyword research. So if you scroll down the page, what you'll see at the bottom of your post editing area is the Yoast SEO editing area. So what you have here is you've got two tabs right now. You've got readability and keyword analysis. You've got the snippet preview, and you'll notice that that is identical to how snippets appear in Google, and that'll keep you right. I'll show you how to do that in a second. You've got a focus keyword. Now this is the important bit. When you've done your Google keyword planner and you've picked out a keyword that you want to focus on for an individual blog post, we picked out here online marketing companies. What you want to do is you want to set your focus keyword first of all. Put that into this field, because Yoast in the keyword analysis will base everything off of the focus keyword. They're going to analyze your content, your headings, your title, your URL, all sorts of things based upon that keyword. So do that first. Enter your keyword there. You can enter meta keywords down here, less important, but you can do that as well. We've done it in this instance. Then you see the snippet as it appears within Google. Now this will change depending on your content, but what you can do is you create your content. Once it's created, the system automatically generates this snippet, but you can go in and edit at any time. And again, these green light systems here, you'll see this green tab. Basically, it fills out as you add words to it. So watch, if I add some text here, what online marketing companies don't want you to know about websites, right? Not really optimized in any way, but you'll see how the green line filled out there. Now what that is doing is that is telling you how many words you're allowed, or how many characters you're allowed to use that will appear within the SEO title. If I go over that at all, just typing random words here. You see it's sort of just slowly filling out, but what it will do is it will show you when you reach your limit and when you can't go beyond that. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that whatever the focus keyword is down here, that firstly it's mentioned in your SEO title, the title of your post. You also want to make sure it's mentioned within the slug. The slug is just the URL. So if you send somebody the link at the top of the page, which I'll show you in a second, it should have that keyword in it. So you'll see here it's online marketing companies, our focus keyword, online marketing companies. We had set that divider earlier in the Yoast SEO plugin to just be a dash, so you'll see how that relates to a slug. And then you'll also notice that online marketing companies is also replicated in the SEO title and within the meta description. So that keyword is mentioned. It's a focus keyword. It's mentioned in the SEO title. It's mentioned in the slug of the page. It's mentioned in the meta description. Okay, so what I want to do now is go back up to the top of the page, and I'll show you how that relates to your editing area and your content of the post. And these things you can edit either down here or up top. So if we go up here, you'll see that we have this title, 4 website secrets online marketing companies, Remember our focus keyword that's replicated there won't tell you. Then we have it mentioned in our URL. This is a very long URL, which I'll show you in a second, probably what the plugin recommends we do with that. But you can edit that to a custom URL at any time, just clicking this little edit button. But again, all you want to do is make sure that your focus keyword is mentioned within that and that anything in there is relevant. And I'll show you how to optimize that shortly. Right, so basically as you create from your custom keyword, you want to go into the editing area of the post itself or page. And you'll see here that this area here is a heading 1. You've got multiple headings in WordPress. Now what you want to do is with your focus keyword, you want to make sure that your focus keyword is mentioned in a number of those different headings at different points throughout the article. Your heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and I'll show you how that works just now. For instance, this is an H1 as we call it. It's mentioned here. This is an H2. It's mentioned here. Also, it's mentioned throughout the body or the copy of the text, and it's mentioned in the first line of text. What you'll get from Yoast SEO is a recommendation on this, and they will tell you, as I'll show you now when we review down, that you need to have all these things in place to really get approved for SEO. So those are the first protocols. Make sure your focus keyword is mentioned in the title, in the URL, in the headings throughout your website, in the first line, in other paragraphs throughout your text, and that it is legible, and we'll get to that in a second. But you'll see as you go down this, you have that focus keyword mentioned many times throughout the text. Online marketing companies, digital, other related terms, digital marketing, web agencies, and so on are mentioned. But we also have things like flashy online marketing. I'm going to edit that to match that focus keyword. So as you go down your content, you'll see it's mentioned throughout. You can go to this post on our website if you like, but it's a pretty long post, as you can see. If you go down there, you see the word count is 1627. So it's a pretty substantial post. As I mentioned in one of the earlier videos, technically the more content the better, but of course you want to make sure that the content is valuable and valid, and that it is helpful and engaging to your readership. You don't want reams and reams of text which just bore the life out of people visiting your website. You got to make sure that the content is good, but that it relates to the keyword that you've chosen. So what I want to do now is just go back down to the Yoast SEO editing block, and you'll see how this starts to relate. So we've got the snippet button. What we want to do is make that a little bit shorter. I'm going to do it like so. I'm just going to edit this here. Take that away, so that ultimately updates the snippet preview. We've got all that laid out. It's got a green light. It's just within. You'll see if I move this on a little bit, this will turn red. See, it's gone red now. That means that it won't be shown, or some elements of it will not be shown in the preview by Google. So there's not really any point necessarily in having that description to continue any further. You've got to keep it within the green light area. Okay, so this is now the important component we want to look at, which is the analysis of your content. You'll see here, and you'll always see at the top here, top right, the SEO is good, but the readability needs improvement, and that relates down to our tabs here that I showed you at the start. SEO, green light, readability, red light. So we're going to deal with readability in a second, but keyword analysis is important here. Okay, so as we go down, you'll see the analysis here. All the green things are the things that they have basically passed and said, yes, that's good for SEO. You've done a good job there. Here's some things that we need to work on. The orange light just means that they're almost there, but can use a little improvement to get that kind of ultimate green light. The images on this page do not have alt attributes containing the focus keyword. Okay, so how do we deal with that? Well, we go up to the images within the post itself. Here's one. I'm going to click on that, click the little edit button, and go in and let's see what the focus keyword is. You see here it's got alternate text, which isn't really in relation to anything about this post. There's actually an old image that I've kind of just thrown in there. So what we want to do is we want to say something along the lines of online marketing companies, remembering our keyword. You can really put anything in here, it's not that important. But online marketing companies secrets, okay? Just put a little thing there. Now that's the alternative text, and that's like an alt tag for the image. You don't need to really know anything about the advanced options at this stage, but the alternative text really allows Google and other search engines to see that image within your blog post, see that it relates to the content with the alt tag that matches your keyword, your focus keyword, and then that kind of just builds the profile of the post page. And then if you do that multiple times throughout your website, it builds the whole profile of your website as well. So we're going to go through this. We're going to update that. I'm going to look at this image. These are terrible images. I don't know what we were thinking in adding those. Again, mentioning the keyword. I don't think we really need to worry about the caption at this stage. We'll update that. That might be it in terms of the images within the post. Looks like it. So what I'm going to do now, you'll see it's changed already. So once I updated that, Yoast rescanned the content and the images and removed the image warning from the list. So instantly that's gone. So what I want to do is I want to update this post to make sure that those changes to the images are saved within this post. So this should time through shortly. Here we go. Okay, so next in list, we have the slug for this page is a bit long. Consider shortening it. So that's what I was showing you a little while ago, was that the slug for the page, if we go up, let me just see here. Yeah, so if we go, this is the slug here. So if we click on that, you'll see the length of the slug as it appears. Now the slug just means the URL. So if we were to go to this post, you can either edit here or go up to the top and edit the URL. So I'm going to edit this, and I'm just going to take out some of the fluff around the information. So secrets online marketing companies won't tell you. Let's see if I save that, does that save down in Yoast? You see automatically that's updated the slug. Now let's see if that has passed. Nope, it hasn't passed their test. So what I want to do is just shorten that again. And sometimes it is just a matter of playing around with it. Just deleting some of the words. Okay, just update this while we're here. We'll go back down, see if that has made a difference. Fingers crossed. There, so you see instantly from changing that, it's actually knocked out 2 of the amber lights within the warnings that we had got. And what that leaves us with is one last thing to deal with. The SEO title contains the focus keyword, but it does not appear at the beginning. Try and move it to the beginning. So what we're going to do is the SEO title. If you go up here, this is the SEO title. So you see, I mean, it's pretty close to the start. So I don't know, you got to make sure that it makes sense as well. Online marketing companies, secrets that they don't want you to know about. And then I'll just take that out, okay? Let's see. Now you'll see that automatically the analysis is showing that issue has been cleared. So we've just got all green lights now, which is excellent. So what you want to do is just go through all of these things, and it deals with multiple different factors which are key to SEO. Things like the length of your article. So you'll see here it says the text contains 2,385 words, more than or equal to the recommended minimum of 300. So it's a good substantial article. The SEO title contains the focus keyword at the beginning, which is considered to improve rankings. Excellent. The page title has a nice length, not too long, not too short, contains the focus keyword. The focus keyword appears in the URL for this page. You've never used this focus keyword before. Very good. So that's why it shows the importance of when we did the keyword research in part 2 of this lesson. The focus should be on having multiple keywords related to your business. You shouldn't just pick one like online marketing companies and use that over and over and over again throughout all the content in your website. What you want to do is create a variety of related keywords and key terms that people are actually searching for, and create content based on the multiple varieties of those terms. So online marketing companies, online agencies, web agencies, website development companies, those types of terms would be excellent for my business if I was creating content for it and trying to optimize that. And what you would probably find was within the posts and pages that I create using those keywords, I would start getting that green light again. You've never used this focus keyword before? That's good. Okay, so that just shows you this is a checklist of analysis that Yoast by SEO does, which is one of the reasons it's so powerful and so easy to use for you guys. You can just run through the checklist, tick things off as you go up and edit, see if it affects the checklist, just like I've done in the last 15 minutes through editing this post. So we have complete green lights throughout here, and again it's all based off our focus keyword, and then the other protocols that they put in place. For instance, the text length, the page title length, the snippets, your previews here, the SEO title, the slug, the meta description. We're getting green lights for everything. The SEO is then rated as good. So that's excellent. We've kind of attended to that now. What we need to do is go into the readability and start honing in on that. So I'll be back in a second. We'll start looking at the readability factor, and I'll show you again how editing the content as we go can impact that, and hopefully we'll get a full kind of set of green lights throughout for this post. Okay, so with readability, it's scored in the same way that the keyword analysis is by Yoast, in that it'll do it via red, orange, and green signal system. So you can see here, if you look at the readability of this post, it's at the moment it's pretty poor. So none of the only green light is saying none of the paragraphs are too long, which is great. So let's just take it from the top. So it says 2 of the subheadings are followed by more than the recommended maximum of 300 words. Try to insert additional subheadings. So you see here as we break down the text, there is quite a lot of text in this. You know, this is like I guess a subheading here, a heading 2. What we could do is start putting in maybe some heading 3s. So we'll just say H3. Now, of course, what you want to do is make sure that all of these things actually make sense and relate to the content. And if I had a bit more time, I would probably try and go through and get the focus keyword as well, coming up within these subheadings. But for now, the core objective is really to get rid of that red on the SEO thing where it says, or on the readability scale, where it says that there's too much text after the subheadings. So let's update that and see if that makes any difference to that rating at the minute. So we'll scroll down to readability. I fear it won't make any difference, but let's take it piece by piece. So we've done that. I think it said 3 of the subheadings earlier, so now it's down to 1. So here's what we've got to do. We've got to go through and just try and filter it out again. So where is there a subheading followed by a lot of text? Well, there's a lot of text here. So what I would do is try and break that up. Let's see, we'll go for heading 3 again. might be a bit long, but I'm going to put that in and see if that might be what the system is looking for in terms of breaking up the text. Okay, we'll go back down. Readability. Right, so you'll see there that that red has now disappeared. It hasn't disappeared, sorry. It's come on under now the orange. So it's saying one of the subheadings is followed by more than recommended. So what I need to do is go through there and basically split up the text a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do that quickly so you guys aren't just having to sit and watch. I'm going to do that quickly and then we'll come back and look at the next steps in the process. Okay guys, so I just added in a couple of extra headings into the bulk of the copy, and you'll see that that has now put a green light on where it says none of the paragraphs are too long, which is great, right at the bottom here. So that was, I kind of just threw in some headings, as you'll see here, just to split up the text a little bit, and of course that helps readability because people then, you know, the system scans it and sees that people can, you know, read a heading, read a little bit of text, a new heading which relates to the content. That's where I would just say one thing that I haven't done here is really focus in on the specific content of the coming paragraph and try and make it more relatable and try and get that keyword mentioned in there as well into those H3, H2 subheadings for yourself, because that'll make a little bit of a difference as to when it comes to rank it for SEO. And really the point here is that with the SEO scoring and the readability scoring, it's just a systematic process. You just go through, create the raw content, get it in place, allow the software to do the scans and to make recommendations, and then just work through point by point, as you'll see. That's pretty much it. Okay, so I don't want to kind of bore you by going through each of the individual aspects to this readability scale, but you can see how by going through that systematic approach and taking the recommendations of the analysis and implementing them and testing and kind of updating the post, going back to the score and seeing if it's improved any, how you can really fine-tune any of the optimization with relation to your posts and pages throughout the website. So just to give you an idea as well, and I've left these kind of 4 as orange or red because they all have recommendations within them. So for instance, if we take this bottom one, it says 11.2% of the sentences contain passive voice, which is more than the recommended maximum of 10%. So it's close, but it needs some work. So what they have here are little links over to their website where they explain what they mean by this, because who really knows what passive voice actually means. So if you click on that, it'll go over to the Yoast website and it gives you examples of, you know, where passive voice might be used versus what a better alternative is. And again, it's just a matter of going through your copy and basically just making sure that those things are attended to. And sure enough, as you do that and you go through and you recognize elements that have maybe the passive voice and you adapt them, you'll soon discover that this turns to green, and then you just work through each of the items in turn. The flesh reading ease test is one where sometimes it's difficult, but the ultimate score in that, of course, is 100. But what you'll notice is it's almost impossible to get anywhere near that, because to have it at 100 is like it's like the article would be written in a childlike voice, so it's very, very simplistic, short sentences and so on. So you'll never get it as high as 100, so don't stress about that. But again, the great thing about this software is they have recommendations on how to do that. So you can just click through to the website, read the article, and then come back to your own content and optimize it accordingly. And what you'll find is when you get the readability up to an amber or even better a green, and you've got the keywords done as we showed you throughout, and you saw in real time, you know, how if we change certain things automatically you kind of tick each item off the list. So you'll see how useful and powerful this software is in terms of optimizing individual posts and pages within your website, and you can see how to go through systematically and do that. So what I would say to you is, first of all, get the raw content in place. You know, if we go back to one of the earlier lessons, what I said was, if you go in and define a certain range of keywords that you want to use, start creating content based around those keywords. So the core focus is get your keyword set, create content around that keyword, put it into your WordPress editing area, add some images and some titles and so on. You'll get a good feel for the normal protocols based on SEO. For instance, the fact that you want to have your chosen target keyword mentioned in the first heading, in the title, in the URL of the website. Let's go back out. Within the first paragraph of the copy, within the general body copy as you go through your article, within the alternate tags for each image. You start to tick those things off even before you really go into the optimization of the individual post or page, as you kind of learn more about what they're looking for. And then really what you'll find is, more often than not, you kind of hit all these as green lights anyway, and then you can just fine tune the other elements that they recommend. And then of course the more tricky type is the readability, but that again is really just a matter of going through the content and tweaking it ever so slightly. So you'll see here, percentages are fairly close. We're 11.2% here as opposed to 10%. That just will involve going through the text, fine tuning and updating the post, and then we'll find that readability also gets a good score. So guys, hopefully that was all of help in terms of going through the software. You'll see where the opportunities are for really optimizing your posts and pages and images and so on. And what you'll find is, through the course of our 3 videos to date, we've pretty much covered all the bases that you need in order to get the base optimization of your website really keyed in. So what we did was, if you remember back, we covered the performance of your website. So we did that WooRank method in video 1, how you get a baseline for where your website is in terms of speed and efficiency. We did that one. We did the mobile compatibility test with Google. We used their mobile friendly test to basically determine how close or whether or not your website is mobile compatible. We looked at the structure and accessibility of your website, and also in this lesson where I showed you how to do the XML sitemap for your website using the Yoast plugin. And then we looked at content and engagement, so how to go through the written, visual and video content of your website. Video isn't something that we specifically dealt with in this video, but it's all the same principle. It's the title, the description, and the content, the written content, the metadata of the actual video itself. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually show you that. I'm going to zip over here to YouTube and I'll show you how to optimize your YouTube videos. And then what you do is you embed them in your website, and you'll see how that relates and basically mirrors the process by which you do it within Yoast. Let's get over here and we'll go to YouTube. And I will, let's see, go to my channel. I'll pick up some videos here. Let's see, one of the older ones, maybe you can see how it's really, things really grow here. All right, let's pick this one. This one, I'll just pause that. This is the original version of this video that I'm recording now. And what you'll see is I go through a lot of the same principles. The layouts change slightly and the software has changed slightly, but that's what the video is about. So there's the video there. What we can do is we can go into the video manager. I'll have to click into it again. Let me just see here. Should be in this page. All right, somewhere here I feel. There we go. So we'll click edit and we'll go into the video, and you'll see that there's a title, there's a description, and there's a load of tags. And basically those tags are just keywords, in the same way that over on WordPress you have different metadata. Will you see? You've got your meta keywords, and you've got tags over here that you can apply to individual posts and pages. And basically YouTube works in the same way, where you want to mention whatever the video is about in your title. You want to replicate that within some of the text. I haven't actually done that. I've changed the text just within doing this new series of videos, so I need to go through and kind of re-optimize the content of this. But what my focus here was really getting traffic over to the new version of this, so people can start to get the most up-to-date information. So I need to go through and add a load of description to the video, but it's the same principle as you do over on the keyword and the snippet and the content of the website and the title versus the URL and all that kind of stuff. And that's pretty much it. There's not a lot to it in terms of video. What you want to do is, again, identify keywords and put it into the title, into the description, into the metadata, the tags, and then save it. And what you'll find is the search engine that is YouTube, in the same way that Google does, will start to identify those things. When people start to engage in or with the video, you'll find that your views start to go up. The recommended video element, as in YouTube will recommend your video to other people viewing similar videos, that will start to rise as well. So really it's a pretty simple way to optimize videos, but you'll find that is the best way to do it. It's just making sure your title, your description, and your tags all match together, and basically just having the content there and make it engaging. Once you have that, what you can do, for instance, if we go in to a video, and I'll show you what you want to do as well, and we'll pick this video as one of the new ones, and we just go down to this share button, click share, and then you'll see this little embed title. Click that and then just copy, so Command C on a Mac, copy that code, and you can go over into your post in WordPress and say, for instance, I want this. Now this isn't really, well, it's somewhat related. I want this to say land right here in the page, this video. I go to the HTML area. I'm going to paste in the embed code, as you see here. That's a pretty small video. I may want to make it bigger, in which case what I would do is choose a different size. So we'll go for 853 and it'll automatically change the code. We'll copy that, go back into our WordPress post, replace what we had, and then click the update button. And you'll see when we go to view this post that now there's a video sitting there. And when people engage with that video and watch it within your posts and pages throughout WordPress, Google will pick up on that, and they'll pick up on the fact, and YouTube as well, the fact that your video is being viewed. Let's go over to the actual URL here. You can see it in action. There it is there. So they will pick up on the fact that your video is being viewed on it through an embed code, an iframe as it's called, over on this website. It's related to online marketing. The article is related to online marketing. It's an engaging post. People are watching the video, people are engaging with it, sharing it, commenting on it, and so on. And that's really how you build that whole process of search engine optimization for video and related to your articles as well. And so now we literally have covered everything. We've, with relation to the content and engagement, how to do your written, visual, and now video content, how to look at keywords, how to go about thinking about keywords and the creation of content based off those keywords, and therefore why it's important that those keywords are set at the outset and you build the content and optimize it around the keywords. As you saw within the Yoast plugin, when we go to look at our titles, our subtitles, our paragraph copy, our URL, our Google snippet, all those different things, we want to base all of them around a specific keyword or key phrase, and that's how it's done. That's how you optimize content to get higher rankings in Google, to get more engagement from your visitors to your website, and ultimately that's why it's so important, is that you do have to create engaging content. But that's where you can mix it up as well. You can have the written content, some visual. You can also create videos like I'm doing right now, and like I showed you on YouTube, how to optimize in terms of just getting them more visible within the search engine that is YouTube. So hopefully that was of help. Guys, it's been a real pleasure to do this series of videos for you. Hopefully you got a lot out of it and stuff that you can start implementing today in your own online marketing. But as always, if you have any questions, queries, concerns, you're stuck at any point, please just comment below the video and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and we'll help you work through it. But in the meantime, guys, thanks for sticking with it for the last 3 videos. I do appreciate your time and investment in that, and the best of luck, guys. Hope all's going well. Have an awesome day. See you soon. Hey guys, and welcome back. Little quick bonus I just wanted to throw in right at the end here. A little feature that I've noticed in Yoast, which is a relatively new thing that I just wanted to make sure I mentioned before we get any further, is the fact that you can start to analyze external sort of views of the website and so on, if that's the right way to put it. But you can say you're on your blog post. We just did this blog post, added a video and so on. If you go up to the Yoast icon at the top, and of course you'll get the green light if you've optimized it correctly. There are these three drop downs which break off into other drop downs where you can start to analyze a bit further. So you can look at keyword research, go back into Google if you haven't already done it. Of course, I've shown you how to do that originally, so you probably won't need to go there. This is a really interesting thing. Google Trends. If you click that button, that will take you over to Google and will show you a history of the search term based on your keyword that you're focusing on within that post. So you can see there that it's all pretty small search volume, which isn't ideal, of course, but you'll see that it's dropped fairly significantly over the last 12-13 years. There's a peak and then it kind of steadies itself through 2016 and so on. You can show the interest by region, related queries, which is helpful. You could start using these other types of items to create further content. Break it down by say the last year, what people have been searching for and so on. So that's a really useful tool. Also, you have all the links to analyze the page itself. So you can go into inlinks, keyword density, Google cache, check headers. A lot of this stuff you do through the optimization of the post itself. But things like Google's page speed test and stuff like that just feed into the overall concept of search engine optimization, as I'd explained in I think it was the first video where we talked about performance and efficiency and load speeds and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of external stuff. This just leads back into the SEO dashboard for the Yoast plugin. But there's a lot of data there that you can actually start to mine now and look into and analyze as well. Maybe we'll do another video on some of the more important things here. But I just wanted to make you aware that that feature is now there within Yoast. So if you want to create your content, optimize the page, I would certainly start by going to the Google like the Google Trends area. If you wanted to analyze the data a little bit more, go into keyword density and CSS validator. If probably more for a programmer. But things, there's your mobile friendly test, which I've shown you how to do anyway. But things like page speed tests and stuff like that, you may want to keep checking up on as you go. And of course, this is a good good website or a good plugin with which to do that. So just wanted to make you guys aware of that before I kind of sign off on this whole 3 video series. I hope that little bonus was of help as well. Make sure you use it. Let me know if you have any questions or queries, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Have an awesome day.